I'm not a fan of hers at all, and I think she's very disrespectful to the Queen that we just spoke about, who's such a great woman, who's such a great person, historic person. I think she's very disrespectful to the royal family, but maybe most importantly to the Queen.
For over 70 years, Queen Elizabeth carried herself with unmatched grace, quiet dignity, and an unshakable devotion to duty. But the calm reign of this iron-willed monarch hit turbulence the moment her grandson, Prince Harry, brought Meghan Markle into the royal fold. Suddenly, the Queen, the woman who had faced wars, scandals, and betrayals, was staring at challenges that felt far more personal. Meghan wasn't just another royal bride. She was different. She was bold, outspoken, and at times, shockingly disrespectful. Today, we're diving into the 13 jaw-dropping times Meghan Markle publicly disrespected Queen Elizabeth II. And trust me, number 13 is proof Meghan wasn't afraid of the spotlight. It screams attention-seeking at its peak. Let's start with the unforgettable moment at Princess Eugenie's wedding. Tradition in the royal family is strict, especially when the Queen leads the way. At St. George's Chapel, the Queen gracefully walked out, followed by the entire family in proper order. Everyone respected the protocol, but not Harry and Meghan. Instead of moving down respectfully, they clung close to Her Majesty, almost staging themselves for photographers to catch them in the Queen's glow. The Queen herself had to step in, not once, not twice, but 3 times, asking them to move aside. Can you imagine? The Queen of England telling you to step down the line, and you pretend not to hear? Harry whispered they should listen, but Meghan only shuffled half-heartedly, her face showing clear resistance. Royal fans were furious. It was blatant disregard for tradition, and Meghan's sulky expression afterward showed she wasn't happy about being told off. And then came the curtsy mockery.
It's a big deal. I mean, Americans will understand this. We have medieval times, dinner and tournament. It was like that. Like, I curtsied as though I was like... Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. Like, was that okay?
On Netflix, in front of millions, Meghan reenacted her very first curtsy to the Queen. But instead of treating the moment with reverence, she exaggerated it, made it theatrical, and even laughed about it. A tradition that symbolized centuries of respect for the monarch, Meghan turned it into a punchline, while Harry sat there awkwardly smiling beside her. The Queen, who valued traditions above all, must have seen this as nothing short of ridicule. But the disrespect didn't stop there. The Queen adored Balmoral, her peaceful retreat in Scotland, a place of deep family bonding. She often extended invitations to Meghan, but Meghan, she declined, repeatedly. Each rejection cut deep. Balmoral wasn't just a vacation spot. It was part of the Queen's heart. To skip such an important family tradition sent a clear message. Meghan wasn't interested in fitting in. It was distance. It was defiance.
So, surprisingly, perhaps, Harry and Meghan are reported to be on the guest list to join her. Do we expect to see them in Scotland?
Well, look, that's what we're hearing, that Harry and Meghan have been invited to join the Queen for her annual summer holiday in Balmoral. Now, look, we don't know whether Harry and Meghan have accepted the invitation or not.
And while the Queen extended warmth, Meghan fired back with criticism. She called royal rules outdated, stuffy, suffocating. It was as if she painted the monarchy, the very institution the Queen dedicated her life to, as a gilded cage. For a woman who had been welcomed into royalty with open arms, this sounded ungrateful, even insulting. Imagine the Queen, listening quietly as her new granddaughter-in-law described her life's legacy as a trap.
That happened, but it's like, what's great about it is the very next message in all these scenes is, poor me, poor us.
She wants me to feel safe and protected. She admires and respects my bravery and vulnerability and just thinks I was selected to break generational curses.
Reports later revealed one of Queen Elizabeth's final wishes: family unity. Her deepest hope was for peace among her loved ones. But Meghan, she had other plans.
Say that at the end of her life, the Queen also wished that her family would make up. She was well aware of the strife between Prince Harry and Prince William, and she reportedly wanted it to come to an end. William and Harry did briefly reunite around the time of the funeral in order to show a united front as they greeted mourners at Windsor Castle. However, there has been no word on whether there are any further plans for the brothers to meet again.
Instead of honoring that dying wish, Meghan pressed ahead with Netflix deals, podcasts, and shocking revelations. Rather than calm the waters, she stirred the storm, spilling secrets, fueling division, and throwing gasoline on family wounds that were already raw. To many, it felt cold, calculated, and merciless. And then came the Oprah interview. The monarchy, the Queen's life's work, was dragged into the mud. Meghan claimed she was silenced, ignored, even trapped, while accusations of racism rocked Buckingham Palace. Outwardly, the Queen held her composure, but insiders whispered she was deeply wounded. Imagine dedicating your entire existence to building the monarchy, only for your grandson's wife to tarnish it on live television, watched by millions across the globe. And let's not forget Christmas, one of the Queen's most sacred traditions. For decades, the rule was clear: Sandringham, with family. But in 2019, Meghan and Harry broke script. Instead of joining Her Majesty in Norfolk, they fled to Canada with Archie. The palace sugarcoated it with talk of family time, but behind closed doors, it was a scandal. Royals rarely skipped Sandringham without duty or illness. Meghan's absence screamed rebellion, a quiet but loud snub at the Queen's beloved tradition. And then, the most painful blow of all, grandchildren. The Queen's heart lit up when surrounded by her great-grandchildren. But with Archie, Meghan kept him away. Rumors swirled that Meghan was deliberately limiting the Queen's time with him. Imagine being denied the chance to bond with your great-grandchild. For Elizabeth, it wasn't just hurtful, it was heartbreaking.
It's fine while everything's going well for Harry and Meghan with the two children. But if things don't go so well, then that's when would be nice if they knew their extended families, which they don't. I'm sure she wants to be in control. There would be no great harm in them meeting grandparents on either side of the family, and I think probably everybody would feel better if that happened, but I don't think it's likely to somehow.
And then came the jaw-dropping etiquette scandal. June 2018, at the Queen's Young Leaders Awards in Buckingham Palace, Meghan, sitting proudly beside the monarch, casually crossed her legs at the knee. Royal watchers gasped. For anyone else, harmless. But for the royal family, it was a major breach of etiquette. Women of the royal household were expected to sit in the Duchess slant, legs neatly angled, never crossed. Meghan's choice screamed, "I play by my own rules." For many, this wasn't just confidence, it was blatant disrespect, and doing it beside the Queen made it even more outrageous.
How dare the Duchess cross the Queen?
Did Meghan commit a big royal no-no? Some royal watchers say the Duchess broke protocol by crossing her legs while attending an event with the Queen. It is customary for royal ladies to sit with their knees primly together or crossing their legs demurely at the ankle.
And the fashion rebellions didn't stop there. The Queen had laid down clear guidelines for royal dress. Modesty first, no flashy nail polish, no bare shoulders. Meghan ignored them repeatedly. She strutted out in off-the-shoulder gowns, wore bright nail colors, and flaunted her style even when standing in the Queen's presence. For Her Majesty, who viewed dress codes as a way of preserving the monarchy's dignity, Meghan's defiance was glaring. It was as if Meghan was saying, "Your rules don't apply to me."
Meghan attended her very first Trooping of the Colour, an annual celebration of the sovereign's birthday in June 2018. Her chosen dress was not exactly traditional. Sitting beside her prince, Meghan arrived at the event in a blush, short-sleeve, off-the-shoulder dress by Carolina Herrera. People pointed out that Kate Middleton has never even worn sleeves shorter than elbow length at these events. Even Princess Diana, who was quite notorious for her revolutionary fashion, never wore short sleeves, let alone off-the-shoulder dresses, to the Trooping of the Colour.
I don't always do what people expect me to do.
But nothing compared to the bombshell of January 2020. The Queen, blindsided, learned through Instagram, yes, Instagram, that Harry and Meghan were stepping back as senior royals. No quiet conversation, no respectful notice, just a global announcement dropped on social media for the world to dissect. To Queen Elizabeth, who valued discretion and loyalty above all, this was betrayal in its purest form. Insiders revealed she had no advanced warning. Imagine the monarch of England finding out with the rest of us, scrolling on her phone or hearing from aides, that her grandson and his wife had just upended centuries of royal duty. It was humiliating, it was cutting, and it was unforgettable.
I know I haven't always gotten it right, but as far as this goes, there really was no other option.
They both lose their official links to the Queen's Commonwealth Trust and the Association of Commonwealth Universities. Meghan will no longer be patron of the Royal National Theatre.
Behind the palace walls, whispers grew louder. Insiders claimed the Queen grew increasingly frustrated with Meghan's refusal to adapt. She had been offered guidance, advice, and every opportunity to ease into her role. But Meghan reportedly brushed it aside, carving her own path. To those closest to the Queen, it was clear. Meghan wasn't just clashing with royal expectations, she was clashing with the Queen herself. A silent war was unfolding between grandmother and granddaughter-in-law. Subtle, restrained, but very real.
Even the late Queen Elizabeth II was on my side, with Her Majesty reportedly branding their behaviour as quite mad. Robert Jobson's Our King exposes the late Queen's bewilderment at the Sussexes' attack on the family, with sources also revealing that palace discussions about stripping them of their titles were held at the highest levels.
And then came the moment that shocked even seasoned royal watchers. In 2018, during a formal engagement, Meghan stepped out of the car and, unthinkably, walked ahead of Queen Elizabeth II. Protocol couldn't be clearer. The Queen always goes first. Not only did Meghan ignore this rule, but she also snatched flowers meant for the monarch. Advisors had told her not to, yet she did it anyway. It wasn't a slip, it was deliberate. To the world, it looked like Meghan placing herself above the Queen. To royal insiders, it was a dagger of defiance. And that, right there, sums up 13 unforgettable moments where Meghan Markle disrespected Queen Elizabeth II. Each one struck like a spark against the Queen's carefully maintained dignity. Some may argue Meghan was simply being herself, modern, unapologetic, unwilling to bend. But when you marry into the monarchy, being yourself means balancing personal freedom with centuries of tradition. And Meghan, she didn't just tiptoe across the line, she stomped all over it. From refusing Balmoral to mocking the curtsy, from skipping Sandringham to blindsiding the Queen with Megxit, Meghan's actions weren't just personal choices. They carried weight. They echoed across the monarchy. And for Elizabeth, a woman who had carried the crown for 70 years with unwavering dedication, each slight must have cut deep. So here we are, looking back. Queen Elizabeth II is no longer with us, but her legacy remains, a symbol of duty, strength, and resilience. Meghan, on the other hand, continues to divide opinion. Was she a rebel trapped in a system too rigid to accept change? Or was she an opportunist who disrespected the very woman who gave her a platform? What's undeniable is this: the Queen was the embodiment of tradition, and Meghan, whether by choice or by nature, challenged it again and again. To many, it was bold, to others, unforgivable. But to the Queen herself, perhaps it was the greatest test of her composure. She never lashed out, never retaliated, never showed cracks. She endured as she always had. And that's the greatest irony. For all the times Meghan disrespected her, Queen Elizabeth still maintained the grace that defined her reign. She left us with dignity intact, even as others chipped away at it. So now the question is for you. Out of all these 13 moments, which one do you think crossed the line the most? Was it the mock curtsy, the Christmas snub, or the Instagram betrayal of Megxit? Tell us what you think in the comments. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explosive royal revelations. Royal Revelation.